have everything. How much can I hold in that hand? How much can I hold in that hand? I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult. It doesn't have to be. Everything I'm talking about, would you agree it's simple? It isn't easy, because we're seeing an example of this right now. It isn't easy to let go.
That depends, though, if that, in construction, if that small job is that just one little small job that year, but it might turn out to be a bigger job the next year. I know with my husband, he has clients that continue every year, they do something different. They're a regular customer that, you know, he squeezes in whenever he can, and they're happy, and they give good references, and so that's what it depends on. It might just be a small job that day, but if it turns into a bigger job,
then you want to communicate with your customers and say, look, I'd love to do this for you. It just doesn't pay me anything. To come out there and measure for that little bit of gravel, I'm not making any money. I can't operate my business that way. And if they're residential people, they may not get that. But if they're the people you're talking about where the jobs grow, they're commercial people, they'll get that. So then you refer them to somebody. Yes?
Your friends or your enemies?
Either one. And why would you have enemies? That sounds like you're a victim. They're just people you don't want to surround yourself with. But they're not your enemy, right? So for anybody you refer, and I do recommend that all of my clients have a list of 3 people they can refer to. And you talk to those 3 people. Say, look, I've just grown to a point in my business that there are some people, some jobs, and maybe some people, we can get to that later, but there are some jobs that I just can't do anymore because they're just not profitable for me with the size of other jobs I'm leaving to do these little jobs. Would you be interested in me referring people to you? So they could be startup people, they could be struggling people, whatever. But of course you want to send them to somebody who you feel really can serve them well. You don't want to send them to somebody who's going to be terrible to them because they'll remember you for that. The customer will. And this customer may come back to you because you didn't do the little job, but you referred them to somebody who could do little jobs, and they come to you for the big job. Because you referred them to somebody who could do the little job. And maybe you referred them, you referred them on, and they still work with that guy. But that's okay. Because you want everything. Look how much you can hold. I'm serious. There are some people I just won't work with. Because I know that it's not going to be a good relationship for me. And that's one of those. Even though the people are lovely, it's not a good business decision. To chase after a job that's not going to get you any money in the hopes that you're going to get money in a bigger one. You're not serving them well, and they'll tell you why. Because you go out with the attitude of like, Jesus, I don't have time to be here. Ah, Christ. And they feel that. They feel it. And they go, I don't know what's wrong with Brian, but there's something. And they don't even know what it is. But they feel it. And you're deteriorating your relationship. And you don't want to do that, right? So let them go. This is what I'm talking about as Canadians. We think small. We just do. It's in our programming to think small, and that makes us really nice. And I love being nice, and I love being known around the world for being really nice. But I can be nice and big. One of my most recent clients, I think from about 2 weeks ago or something, that he became a client, we met in Toronto in October, and he's from Western Ontario, so it was kitchen cabinetry and stuff like that. So it's construction, but they build the cabinetry either in your house or wherever, and they do commercial and whatnot. But anyway, he's been sitting on the fence to work with me. He said to me, I've watched every video you've ever done. I've read everything on your website. I've read every article I could find on on the internet and all that stuff. He said, but that teleclass that you just did, he said, what I kept hearing in there is that I can be a good person, even if I'm rich. And that's what was holding him back. Because he knows someone in their neighborhood who appears to be rich. And he's arrogant and boastful and a braggart, and nobody likes him. And this, he realized, was holding him back, because if he became rich, he would have to be just like that guy. I said, why would you want to be like that? I don't! I said, then why would you?